Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello everyone, my name is Nikani Hapsari, and in this video, I will doing a short teaching simulation for senior high school students. The topic of our lesson is procedure text, and I will show you how I will teach this material in the classroom. Later in this video, I will also explain the learning theories behind the activities I planned, how I create HOTS-based question using Bloom taxonomy, and how I apply the concept of deep learning in my teaching. So before we start, let me explain the learning objectives. By the end of the lessons, students are expected to understand the definition and purpose of procedure text, identify the generic structure and language features, analyze example text, and create their own procedure text based on the correct format. Alright, now let's begin the lesson. First of all, what is a procedure text? So, a procedure text is a kind of text that explain or help us how to make or do something step by step. We can find this kind of text in recipe books, tutorials, instruction manual, or even YouTube videos. For example, how to make a cup of coffee, how to install a mobile application, or how to make a slime. Next, let's talk about the generic structure of a procedure text. There are three main parts. First, there is a goal, aim, or goal. So, this text contain about purpose of making or operating of something. For example, how to make fried rice. So, the goal is to make fried rice. Second is ingredient or material. Material consists of ingredients that are used in making something, but not all parts of procedure text include material. Sometimes a procedure text does not have material section. For example, rice, vegetables, eggs, cooking oil, frying pans. Third is steps or methods. Contain the step or sequences that must be done so that the objective outlined in the aim or goal to be achieved. Step or sequences must be a sequence from the first to the last. Okay, now let's look at the language features. Present text usually have this characteristic. They using imperative sentences or command, for example, cut, do not mix, and so on. They use action verbs or active verbs, such as turn, put, do, mix, etc. And they use connective word or conjunction to show the sequence, such as that, while, after that, next, and finally, and etc. They use adverbial or adverbs to give more detail. For example, for 5 minutes, 2 hours, and etc. And the last is they use the simple present tense because the instruction are general truth or repeated action. So let's take a simple example how to make a glass of coffee. Uh, so the goal is to make a glass of coffee. For the material, there are water, sugar, coffee, glass, spoon, and kettle. So for the step, first boil the water, second take 2 spoons of coffee and 2 spoons of sugar, put into a glass. Next, pour the hot water into a glass, then stir it gently. Finally, your coffee is ready to drink. So let's skip this procedure tech example. So we move to learning theories in my teachings. Okay, so in designing these lessons, I also apply several learning theories that support 21st century skill and student-centered learning. This so the first one theories is constructivism, which is the theory from John Piaget and Vygotsky. I use constructivism by involving students in group discussion and collaboration. After I explain the concept of procedure text, students work together in group to create their own procedure text on a topic they choose. For example, how to make dalgona coffee or how to use a blender. Through this activity, they build their own understanding by interacting with peers and constructing knowledge from experience, which is the essence of constructivist learning. So, second is the theory connectivism by George Siemens and Stephen Dons. I apply connectivism, especially when I integrate digital platforms. I ask students to search for tutorial videos on YouTube or Instagram Reels and then retell the step in English. This allows them to connect information videos on YouTube or Instagram Reels and then retell sorry, this allowed them to connect information from different sources and use technology in their learning process. It also improved their digital literacy, which is essential in the era of Industry 4.0. Third, use humanistic theory by Maslow and Rogers. I apply humanistic theory by giving students the freedom to choose the topic of their personal text based on their hobbies or daily routines. When students feel that the material is relevant to their lives, their motivation increases and they are more excited to participate. This approach helps develop student creativity, autonomy, and emotional engagement. Next, Behaviorism Theory by Skinner and Thorndike. I also use strategies or theory through repetition and reinforcement. For example, I give exercise where students write five imperative sentences. I get them to repeat the correct patterns and correct their mistakes through direct feedbacks. So this helped them form the habit of writing instruction correctly. Last is connectivism theory by Brenner and Ausubel. So finally, I use connectivism to help students organize their thought before writing. I guide them to create a mind map showing the goals, material, and step of their text. This helps students just to structure their ideas logically and process information more effectively. Okay, we move to the construction of HOTS question. In addition to designing activities, I also prepare assessment using HOTS or higher order thinking skill based on Bloom revised taxonomy. Here are example of the question I created. So the first one is C4, which is analyzing. So the question is compare the step in how to make a cup of coffee and how to make a fried egg. What are the similarities and differences? This question trains students to analyze two texts by comparing content and structure. So C5 or which is evaluating. So the question is in your opinion, which person is easier to follow? A written recipe or a video tutorial? Explain why. So, this question encourages students to evaluate and defend their choices with logical reasoning. The last is 6, which is creating. So the question is write your own procedure text about something you often do at home. So this question uh, giving students to challenge create their own text based on their experience. So this level requires them to apply their understanding in a new context. So this hot item push students beyond memorization. They have to think critically, solve problem, and be creative. So I believe this lesson also promotes deep learning because it encourages students to explore the material in depth, involve them in real, authentic tasks, connect learning with their real life experience or contextual, combine individual and group work, and then develop depth thinking, not just remembering. So students are not only learning the what, but also the why and how. They create, reflect, and build lasting understanding. This is the essence of deep learning. Okay, to conclude this teaching simulation, I have explained the material of person text, demonstrate how to teach it using various learning theories, designed HOTS-based question, and show how deep learning can be implemented in class. I hope this simulation provides a clear picture how I will apply pedagogy, assessment, and innovation in teaching English. And thank you very much for watching this video. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.